Hello, Willowbrook. Today we are reading from Matthew chapter 22. Now, in the previous chapter, Jesus clears the temple, and the religious leaders ask, by what authority did Jesus do all these things? So he gives them three parables. Chapter 22 begins with the last of these three parables, the parable of the wedding banquet. Now, as you read the chapter, I want you to find the three sections of this parable. Number one, the king's invitation is rejected by many. This refers to many of the Jews rejecting the gospel. And number two, the king's invitation is extended to strangers. This refers to the gospel spreading to the Gentiles. And number three, the invited persons are still expected to be properly dressed for the wedding. Now, at first, this third section may seem a bit harsh. Here's a man willing to come to the wedding banquet, and the king notices that he is not wearing the appropriate wedding clothes, so he is thrown out. This part of the parable is a whole lot more than just wearing the right clothes. It's about the righteousness we receive when we embrace the gospel and come to the Father. Isaiah gives us a great example of this. In Isaiah 61:10, it says, I delight greatly in the Lord. My soul rejoices in my God. For he has clothed me with garments of salvation and arrayed me in a robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom adorns his head like a priest, and as a bride adorns herself with her jewels. When we come to Christ, he puts a robe of righteousness on our shoulders. And because of his grace, we are dressed appropriately for the wedding banquet. We're not just there to be seen and to check a box. Now, after these parables, you'll find three attempts of the Sadducees and the Pharisees to entrap Jesus so that they can arrest him. And in one of those attempts, Jesus gives us a response that has meant so much to me. When asked what the greatest commandment is, Jesus says, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. And all the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. Hang is an interesting word that Jesus uses. These two commandments are always meant to work together. They're like two hinges on a door, both working together to open and close. But there's also another meaning here. Jesus obeyed these commandments himself as well. He loved his Father with all his heart, soul, and mind, and he loves us as he would himself. So much so that in the coming days, he would hang on a cross and die for us, so that in receiving the gospel, we would have a robe of righteousness placed upon our shoulders, and we would be worthy guests to his great banquet. My prayer for you today is that you would be enriched by the reading and studying of this chapter. Have a great day in the Lord.